Welcome to Mlritm Institute of Technology and Management's Drishya Siksha Sangraha ICT lecture videos. My name is Dr. Sravanthi and I come from Department of Mechanical Engineering and I will be your instructor for manufacturing process. Manufacturing process is one of the core engineering subjects with respect to mechanical engineering department. This subject is introduced in the second year for all the mechanical engineering students, and the major objective of the course is to make sure that the student will understand the fundamental principles of manufacturing and what is actually manufacturing and how this process happens in an industry and what kind of process are involved in manufacturing. And finally, after the completion of subject, the student will be able to demonstrate and apply the process in the laboratory, and he will also be in a position to select the appropriate process which is needed for transforming a raw material into an object. So this is what the major objective or the outcome of the course. Well, moving on to the modules, there are 5 modules in this particular course. So when we talk about unit number 1, it is a basic introduction to manufacturing. And apart from that, we also have introduction to the casting process, how the casting happens, and what is the importance of the pattern in casting, the types of sand, importance of sand, and finally the casting defects. It also includes the different types of casting procedures. Moving on to module number 2, it is all about the joining process. When we say joining, it is welding. So, what is welding? The classification in welding, right? And then, what kind of welding techniques are used in an industry? The traditional as well as the latest one will be discussed in this particular module. Moving on to unit number 3, it is all about the sheet metal forming processes like blanking, piercing, deep drawing, spinning, coining, stamping, and what kind of tools are exclusively used in these particular processes will be discussed. Moving on to the next module, which is number 4, it basically talks about the extrusion. Like what is extrusion, the principle involved in it, what kind of materials are extruded, the process behind it, of course, its advantages and disadvantages. And when it comes to extrusion, we will also be discussing about the plastics, its types, and their processing methods, such as injection molding or blow molding. Well, finally, it is all about the unconventional machining process, which is included in module number 5. Okay, to name few of them, we would be speaking about the various types of conventional or unconventional machining process, the difference between both the unconventional, which is modern, as well as the traditional process, and few of them like abrasive jet machining, their process parameters, water jet machine, the process parameters, advantages, disadvantages, etc. So this is all about we will be dealing in future upcoming classes in manufacturing process. There are good number of textbooks which are available online as well as in the library where the students can go through and get some information about manufacturing technology. Few of them are listed here. One is P.N. Rao and the other one is by Pearson Edition, which is about manufacturing, engineering and technology. And we also have a book written by Pakirappa where the language is quite very simple and the students can understand the basics in a very clear manner. Well, there are some of the reference textbooks which are also available written by Sharma, PC Sharma, which is about the production technology. When we say production technology, manufacturing process, it is like one and the same. So they can also refer to the textbooks which are related to the production technology, manufacturing process, or manufacturing technology. And uh, you can also refer to the online material which are uploaded here. The NPTEL links are uploaded here. You can go through that if it is needed. Well, moving on to manufacturing. So, what is exactly manufacturing and how do we define this? Before we discuss about the definition of manufacturing, let me tell you that 99.9% of the world is filled with products. So, we have products, we have goods, we also have services. Now, how? Let us pick an example. Let us say the stylus pen is a product. The laptop, what we use, is a product. The camera, which is focused on me, is also a product. How does is this made? How is it is actually made? What is involved into it? To keep it very simple, that somewhere an idea is generated, keeping in mind that an idea is generated, and this idea is being transformed into a product in the market. So, in this idea transformation to a product, what is exactly happening is all about manufacturing that can be told as. Say, for example, now, in order to make a pen, what is exactly required? Okay, let us say we need some material, which is a plastic, or we need man who will be working on this material. Of course, money is needed, then a methodology or the process, and finally, it goes into the market. Fine. So there is material, man, money, method, and market. When five M's are included in transforming an idea to a product. So, as I told you, when we take an example of a pen, the material can be a plastic. So, when you choose a plastic, okay, and we purchase an equipment, so we can also say there is machinery, equipment is needed, okay, right? So, this plastic goes into an equipment and there is some procedure which is involved in it. Let us say, so the plastic undergoes molding. So the raw material, which is a plastic, which undergoes the molding process, and finally it reaches the market. So now here, what is exactly happening? There are five M's which are transforming an idea into a product, which is including money, man, material, machinery, as well as methodology. So now when we concentrate on this and make it simplified, I can see that there is an input, there is a process which is happening in between, and finally there is an input output. So what inputs, as I discussed earlier, it can be a raw material or a labor or a machine or a capital and some methodology. So in simple, the definition of manufacturing is that we are converting a raw material into a finished good by utilizing all the five M's. But when we look into the title, it is manufacturing process. So here we basically concentrate on what kind of process, I mean to say the methodology or the equipment is utilized in transforming this raw material into a finished good or a product or a service. So when it comes to the material or man or managing money or market, that comes under the various courses or various branches of engineering. When it comes to manufacturing process, we basically concentrate on the type of material which is going into it, the machinery which is involved, the process happening there, and how it actually goes on. Well, so this is what's shown here. The idea is generated, then we come up with a design, then what kind of material is required, the material is processed, and finally we get an output. So, in simple, converting raw material into a finished product. So, how is that we are doing? We are using all these five M's. Well, but when it comes to engineering definition, it is a little more expanded. When we are transforming this raw material into a finished good, we are trying to apply some physical and chemical processes. Why are we doing that? We might want to change the shape, or the properties undergo some changes, or finally we are putting up some methodology there and converting this product in the raw material into a product. So the engineering definition says that it is an application of physical or chemical process. And why are we doing this? We are doing it to alter the geometry or change the appearance and finally get the desired object. So, speaking about the manufacturing processes, as discussed earlier, there are 5 different modules, and every module would cover one particular manufacturing process. So, moving on, there are few listed here. One is casting, the second one is forming, it can include machining. The joining process in particular is called as welding or surface finishing processes. They all come under the manufacturing process, which will bring changes in the raw material physically or chemically. Fine. So, why is manufacturing important? What are the objectives of manufacturing? So, with the help of this manufacturing techniques, we will be able to produce a product which is with good shape and size. Then, at the same time, we are going to enhance the mechanical properties, or desired mechanical properties can be achieved. Apart from this, we can also focus on the dimensional accuracy, very good surface finish, and ultimately minimize the wastage, and we can also minimize the cost. So, therefore, with manufacturing, all these objectives are achieved. Then, moving on to the classification of manufacturing process. The classification is done into 4 ways: the primary processes, secondary process, finishing process, and the joining process. So all these processes will be covered in the upcoming modules, taken up as every individual topic. So today we will talk about the primary process. So the primary process basically include casting and molding. So unit number 1, we will be focusing on this primary manufacturing process, which is called as casting. So we will see what is casting, what are the steps involved in casting, and what are the casting defects, the classification, and as well as what are the other advantages and disadvantages. Thank you. The casting topic will be discussed in the next upcoming class.